Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, to my first YouTube video. My name is Kyle, and I'll be showing you how to make named bows that fire arrows that execute commands upon hitting ground. Now, I know this kind of thing has been done, and by the way, this is all vanilla Minecraft with command blocks. I know this has been done with elemental arrows and stuff, but I haven't seen anything that works quite like my system, so I figured I'd put it out there. Now, I got the starting idea from SethBling in his elemental arrows video, so I took kind of what I saw there and improved upon it. Now, he did that in the snapshot before 1.8 even came out, so he probably has something, he might have something better now, I don't know. So I'm just going to quickly whip through and show you some of the bows I've created with this, just so you get an idea of what's possible. I've got sand, got obsidian, and please note that when I fire one kind of arrow and then switch to a different kind of bow, it still executes the arrow command of the bow you fired it with. See, because I fired with water, and then it switched to obsidian and it did water. Then I've got torch bow, then I've got the lightning bow, which just creates lightning. Then I've got the teleporter bow, that teleports you to where the arrow lands. Then I've got the void bow, that just deletes the area around where the arrow lands. Then I've got the fire bow, which just puts fire in all the air blocks around where the arrow lands. Lots of fun. Then I've got the delete bow, which just deletes a single block where the arrow lands. The only downside is if you hit the side of a block, it still does the block below. So there doesn't seem to be a fix for that. And then I'll show you a few more. I've got these, just so you get an idea of what you can do with this thing. You've got the block in mid-air bow. That's the earliest I could detect it. Trying to make it faster would remove features now. Then the water drain bow, great for getting rid of water. Then I've got the firefighter bow, and that's good for getting rid of fire. It gets rid of fire, torches, lava, and flowing lava, so I'll demonstrate that here. There you go. And then I've got the lumberjack bow that deletes all wood and leaves in an area around where the arrow lands. Then I've got the monster spam bow, or the mob spam bow first. That's just spawns a ton of mobs where the arrow lands, which not sure the point, but it's tons of fun. And then the monster spam bow, which is like the same thing, but with monsters. Maybe the trolliest thing ever done to shoot this in someone's window. So I'm just going to kill those really fast. /kill. There we go. And then I'm going to spawn in a few more mobs because the next bow is related to them. It's the Death Plunge bow, and what it does is it teleports all entities near the arrow in a 15-block radius, 100 blocks into the air, and then they fall to their deaths. Then I've got the Lifting bow, which teleports the entities. And the blocks 37 blocks up. Now, as you just saw, if the arrow hits an entity instead of hitting the ground, the effect doesn't run because it needs to hit the ground. Then I've got the Explosion bow, which summons a prime TNT that explodes immediately. That's a lot of fun. And then I've got two more. I have the Path of Destruction bow, my personal favorite, which it summons lit TNT with a long fuse 6 blocks above the arrow as it flies through the air. So it creates a big line of TNT where you stop. It's very destructive and lots of fun. Then I've got the Apocalypse bow, which I named thusly because I was feeling dramatic. But it replaces the air all the blocks in a sphere with fire. So I thought it looked fitting. Now allow me to TP back to the command center here. Now, sorry about this. This is the setup for one arrow. This is kind of the backbone of everything, and then this is one arrow. Now, I have a lot of extra stuff here, but it's the same setup over here, and then I just copy-pasted that, made it a bunch of times, did it double-decker so I could make all the arrows. So I got my firefighting bow, water drain bow, void bow, all that. Again, this kind of system was, the idea was given to me by SethBling, so I just did what he did, so hats off to SethBling for figuring that out. It's got a super fast clock here that puts redstone here and air there, and then that powers this command block, which tests for an arrow in the world. That powers this command. If there is an arrow in the world, it'll power this, which sets redstone blocks above this redstone block. Now, I'll just show you that with let me just put some of these away. I'll show you that with the firefighting bow. If I fire that, you'll see above the command block here, the redstone blocks appear in a line from here to here. Now, on the bigger ones, that line goes along the whole row of this, and it's on the top and bottom, as you can see. But I have less, so I just made the fill less long. If you want to add more arrows, make the fill longer to either side, and you're good. Then I have, as soon as this is powered, it checks for any character, any player is holding in their inventory in their hand, selected an item, a bow named new bow in this case. So when I fire the firefighting bow, it doesn't activate it. But if I get my bow called new bow and fire that, it does activate it. Then, so shortly after this powers this with the fill, this block then sets these blocks to air so that the redstone path can get through. And then it immediately sets it back to stone so that it cuts it off again, because I only want a short pulse. And then this command block, this is the main part of the idea that I got from SethBling that was very useful, is setting the block data of another command block to execute at the arrow, at the arrow's coordinates, to summon a lightning bolt at the arrow's coordinates. And the block that it changes the data of is this one. So this one is powered by, again, the same super fast clock, but this time it's checking for an arrow that's in the ground. So when you fire an arrow, it sets the effect, and when it hits the ground, it executes the effect, because this command block will get the effect put into it by that, of whatever you want. And then as soon as it's executed its effect, it'll power this, which sets the command in this command block to the word nothing. It just needs to be something that doesn't execute a command. Then, and at the same time as the command is being executed, it deletes all arrows in the world so that the system's ready to use again. Now, that's the basic premise of it. If you wanted to add more, you could just build another setup like this for more arrows with the command blocks, and you just have to change the coordinates that command block is pointing to. That for where you have to change those coordinates so that it still points to this block instead of pointing over here now. And then you put your effect in where you want. I have summon lightning bolt. You can have set block to obsidian, and that's how I made my obsidian one. The more complicated ones, like the path of destruction bow, use some of this. And I'm not going to get into that because that'd just be a little excessive. But if anyone wants to know, please let me know. I would love to show you guys how to do all this stuff. I just don't want to bore you guys to death on my first video. So I'll be monitoring the comments religiously since it's my first video, and I'm interested to see if anyone sees me. So anything you say, I'll probably respond to, or at least definitely read. And if you want me to put, I don't know, MC edit schematics for this whole setup, I can somehow do that if someone teaches me how to do that. I've got MC edit schematics, I just don't know how to give them to people over the internet. But I can give you those with all the bows, and it works everywhere. There are no static coordinates in anything except this red one. This is the one, it accesses this ball, and this is the one for the apocalypse bow. It places this ball of clay first, and then it searches the area for clay and replaces it with fire. That's how I get a sphere instead of a cube. But that's the only one that uses absolute coordinates, so you'll have to change those. But everything else is relative, so it all works. You can just plop this down in your world and it'll be fine. So that's everything. Thanks for watching. I'm not going to ask you to comment, rate, and subscribe, because everyone does that, and I don't think it really helps. And besides, I don't really know what rating and subscribing do for YouTube videos, because I'm new to this scene. But kind words are always appreciated, but I'm not going to ask for them, except that I just did. But anyhow, so have a good day. I hope I helped, and I'll probably come out with a new video soon about some more of my things that I've made. Bye.